Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking for a no-nonsense, highly structured approach to puppy training, you are absolutely in the right place. Today we're looking at a fantastic, highly effective methodology from certified dog trainer and behavior consultant Daniel at Dog University. We're going to break down the absolute first 3 things you should teach a new puppy to establish a lasting, positive bond.
But hey, before we get into the exact methods, let me ask you something. Is your sweet new puppy actually listening to you, or just totally ignoring your commands? You know, it's an incredibly common frustration for new owners. You speak, and they just stare blankly at you, or run in the completely opposite direction. As we'll see today, this usually isn't stubbornness. It's actually just a communication breakdown.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, essential puppy basics. Then, Lesson 1, the name. Lesson 2, drop it. Lesson 3, the mat. And we'll wrap it all up with the key to success. Starting right off with essential puppy basics, setting the foundation for a well-behaved companion.
To help us visualize all this, I want you to meet Tony. Tony is this adorable, super energetic 16-week-old puppy from our source material who is just learning the ropes. By using Tony as our case study today, we can put a charming, concrete face to the training methodology. We aren't focusing on advanced agility tricks here. We're focusing on the core communication tools you need for everyday life.
Moving on to Lesson 1, the name, and why it's more than just a cute sound. Now, you might be wondering, do we really need to teach a dog its own name? To some people, that sounds completely crazy. You'd think they'd just instinctively figure it out, right? Well, let's bust that myth right now. The reality is, names have to be actively learned through positive association. Think about it. If you just say a dog's name all day long without any consequence, they're going to eventually stop reacting to it entirely. I mean, if someone in the room kept saying your name over and over but never actually wanted anything or gave you a reason to respond, you'd tune them out pretty quickly too. So here are the exact steps to build that positive association. First, say the puppy's name clearly. Next, deliver an immediate positive consequence. You can use a tasty treat or, just engage in some fun social play. Then simply repeat this to build a positive emotional response. And here's a really interesting point. Even if the puppy gets hyper or acts a bit goofy, which Tony absolutely does during his training, that is totally fine. Actually, scratch that. It's expected. The goal right now isn't calm obedience. It's literally just to create a powerful, positive emotional link to the sound of their name. Okay, Lesson 2, drop it. Or as it's known in German, mastering the Aus command. Translating drop it to drop it gives us what is arguably one of the absolute most crucial safety skills a dog can have. But we really need to bust a major myth here. People often think drop it is a scolding interruption signal, something you yell when the dog is doing something naughty. No way. The reality, drop it simply means opening the mouth to release an item. That's it. It's just a simple mechanical cue, not a punishment. If you want a command to interrupt bad behavior, you need to train a completely separate interruption signal for that. Drop it should always stay positive and mechanical. So how do we teach this? Well, there are 2 straightforward methods. Method 1 is all about social interaction. First, you start a fun game of tug-of-war with a toy. Then, you suddenly stop moving the toy to make it completely boring. Wait just 1 second for the dog to let go, because as dogs know, dead prey is boring prey. The exact second that mouth opens, you say drop it, and then reward them by instantly resuming the fun game. The best part is you don't even need treats for this method, because the movement of the toy is the actual reward. Now, method 2 is the treat lure. While the puppy has a toy in their mouth, hold a high-value treat right up to their nose. The puppy will naturally drop the toy so they can eat the treat, right? Well, right as they drop the item, you say, drop it. And this brilliantly illustrates how you can really accelerate their learning, because you get to double reinforce the behavior. They get the treat, and you instantly resume playing with the toy. They quickly learn that dropping something doesn't mean the fun ends. It actually means they get a snack plus more fun. Next up, Lesson 3, the mat. Creating a calm space on command. In German, the mat command is known as Decke. And let me tell you, having your dog reliably go to a mat is incredibly practical, especially when visitors knock at your door. But to teach this the right way, we need to understand a really vital psychological concept from the source material, the bridge signal, or Brooken signal. So a bridge signal is a temporary physical or visual aid, like tossing a treat or pointing your hand. You use it to guide a dog into a behavior before you ever introduce the verbal word. It builds their understanding, and then you just gradually fade it out. All right, let's walk through the steps using that bridge signal. Step 1. Toss a treat directly onto the mat. You'll want to repeat this about 10 to 12 times so the dog learns that the mat is a pretty awesome, highly rewarding place to be. For step 2, you stop throwing the treat. Instead, use a hand motion toward the mat, but, and this is key, you only reward them with a treat from your hand after they step onto it. Once they're reliably following your hand, you move to step 3, add the verbal word mat before making the hand motion. That timing is absolutely crucial. You say the word, pause for a split second, and then do the hand motion. This is how the dog securely connects the verbal cue to the action.
And finally, the key to success, bringing it all together.
So what's the overarching philosophy you need to make these 3 basic commands truly stick? Well, according to Daniel's timeline from our source material, it only takes about 7 days, literally just 1 week, to establish a solid foundation for a command like the mat. Sure, it requires consistency and a bunch of repetitions within that week, but the actual time frame to see reliable results is wonderfully short if you just put in the focused work.
And doing that work means following this incredibly powerful quote from the source. If there is no consequence, they will eventually learn that this word is completely meaningless to them. This really hits the nail on the head and reiterates the core psychology of puppy training. Every single action, every time you call their name, every command you give, must have a consequence. Whether that's a treat, a fun game, or just some enthusiastic praise. If you just talk at your dog without following through, your words literally lose all their power. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But before we go, I want to leave you with this provocative question. What words are you saying to your puppy right now that might just be meaningless noise? Are you saying their name over and over without a reward? Are you shouting "drop it" when you really just want them to stop jumping on the couch? By applying this structured, consequence-driven methodology to these first 3 essential commands, you can literally transform how you communicate with your dog. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy training.